Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at nflsundayticket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another episode of Shades of Blue. We are the KC Soccer Journal. I'm Carrie Robinson. We have Thad Bell and we have Robert Russert. While this is not a special game that we are covering, it is a special day for Thad. Happy birthday, Thad.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yes. We're not going to talk numbers. We're just going to be thankful that you are here.
You know what's funny is when I was setting up the Zoom, I typed in my birthday, like my birth year, like because I always like Shades of Blue, 8/26, and I put the because I just put the whole year, the whole everything on, and I'm like, and I realized I did that, so I changed it. So you can't even like cheat off of that. But yeah, I'm old. It's okay. I lived way past my best use by date. I've lived way past what expectations. Anything at this point is just fun and gravy.
We beg to differ. You're very useful, Thad. Come on, man.
I don't know if everybody would agree with that, but that's okay. All right. I know we will discuss somebody's trip here soon, but 2 games were in the Pacific Northwest recently. Sporting and the Current have been kind of doubling up. They both played Orlando one weekend. They both were in the Pacific Northwest, and this weekend has no relation except they overlap each other, but we'll get to that later. Carrie, what did you see? I don't know. Do we even really want to talk about this game? It was a 5-2 loss. Are they a lost cause at this point? Do you have any hope? Is there anything that you're hopeful for?
No. I've no hope. And that's, I think, even maybe 2 games ago, I think I was saying I don't have much hope left. But I don't even know what we should be looking for at this point because we have so many people out of contract or with options to pick up that I just don't know what to be looking at, what to be hoping for, to kind of help build this team for the future and look to hopefully brighter days. But I texted Sperry in the middle of the game and I said, is there any hope at the end of the tunnel? Or is that end of the tunnel close to being done? And then we got scored on again. So I guess not.
I think from what you said, you create the other team scoring goals. So maybe you should just be not do anything, not tweet, not say things.
No, you're right. I should just sit down and say nothing and be zoned into the game only.
That would make it a lot less fun, though.
As far as sporting lost cause, I mean, they picked the worst time, and of course, they didn't pick it. Bad choice of words, but the worst time to have the injuries that they've had. You know, bad time for anybody to be out when they're really pushing for that last gas for the playoffs, and you got a number of guys injured. So that didn't exactly help. So
Yeah, two issues came together essentially is one that they were hitting a really bad part of the schedule, road games and teams that are well above them in the standings, and they were missing Manu and Eric Tommy for extended periods of time. So not the most opportune situation there. If it's a lost cause, what do you do? If you're Mike Burns, do you walk down to Carrie Savagnin and say, let's do something? What do you do?
Robert?
well, I mean, again, it's the whole issue of who's going to be in charge. Because, my answer would normally be, okay, we've got to figure out who can play the system best that we're going to play. But we don't know what that is because we don't have a chief of soccer operations. We don't have who the manager is going to be. At least we don't think we do. So that's a tough call. You try to be competitive as much as you can, try to keep your fans interested as much as you can, and try to win at the same time. You're auditioning guys that you need to audition, that you need to make decisions on. So I think it's a combination of those two.
I kind of disagree. I'm
Okay.
not totally, but I know I've heard people say this a lot is, well, we need to like see what we got, like see what, players want to be here, see what players have, do these. There's almost every player on the roster is somebody that they know well already. I mean, I'm going to give it a
Almost,
couple
yeah.
exceptions is, obviously Alan Montez, and Ian James, we haven't seen enough, but I mean, they've seen him play a little bit and they've seen him play with the two team and in the academy. And he's also, pretty young. So there's only so many expectations there. Who do they need to see anything from at this point? Like literally, if they haven't done something by now, and I know we can't get rid of everybody, but if they haven't done something by now, if you don't have something like going, hey, this player 12 is going to do something really great, and we think that we can build around him, bye-bye. Why
Well,
play him? Why play him?
I think we both know that, or all of us know that the more minutes and playing time that a player gets, the more they get in a rhythm. So there might be a couple handful or less who, you give that opportunity to.
I I understand, and I've made the same argument in the past for other teams. I just think right now I don't have any need to see anybody except Alan Montez. And actually, let's see what Kerry can do. Is there some magic he can pull out with some combination? Let him play. Let him put the best thing out there he can to get some kind of result, to have any kind of possible climb up the table.
But best will the best possible lineup is injured still.
Oh yeah.
So I think as well, and I mean, I was going to talk about this later, but I think that he has to put players out of their position. Santiago, is what I'm thinking the most. I do not like him in that more of a midfield position, especially now that they're bringing in Tori recently, which my stock in Tori has gone up significantly in just the last few games, and I'm sure it has for a lot of people. But Santi's gone down because he's out of position. He's not in the spot that he has been when he's
Yeah.
coming to substitute. But then again, he is filling in for a role that he's not comfortable in. So I can't fault him for that. But again, it's just one of those they're just they just got to put in players where they can, and this is the best that Carey can probably throw out right now. And I don't know how much more he can do with the limited roster at the moment.
Yeah, I think Toy's an example. That's what I was thinking of when you hadn't mentioned him yet, of giving someone some games, let him have some rhythm and see what he can do.
Well, and I kind of think they are doing that, but
Yeah, right,
he's
exactly. Yeah.
he's somebody who has had injury problems over his career and hasn't broke out as a star. I like him. I would like to have him back, depending on the other options of lots of other things. He has definitely went up in my opinion as well. I mean, I think Toy has been a good story.
So what do you like about him as a as a player the most? That
Uh, he has been, I mean, he's a guy who's seems to always be putting out the effort and getting into good spots. And with any kind of midfield, he's running towards goal and taking shots. You know what I mean? Because he just doesn't get the ball enough. Same problem as Dayon, right? Um, how many how many games has it been since Dayon scored a goal that wasn't stealing a goal off of Toy? One, two, three, four,
quite a
five.
bit.
I think 6 games ago was his last regular season goal that wasn't taking that easy tap in that Toy was actually going to score.
Yeah. Carrie, what are your thoughts on Toy?
I like him. I like the duo of him and Dayon up on top. Um, but again, I wish that we could see Santi in that position more often, or even if we could see Santi and Toy together. But I think I like the runs that he's making. I think the Orlando game, I'm gonna credit his misses to an empty net at harder angles to be he is not getting enough minutes to be in practice and form for that. I'll give him a little bit of leeway there, but I just wish that he was a slightly more faster, but great second option, great third option.
Yeah, I think as a depth chart, he's really way better than I expected. I was very worried when he was the only striker on the team on the roster at one point. But I think I would love to still have a 4-4-2 kind of system, at least, but when they have the right players. I just don't know when that is or if ever. Because again, Shallowy, Shoppy, and Santiago as wide midfielders are probably not the best place for them. If you go to a 4-3-3, Santi or Mason could probably play wing, but that's not their best either. Again, it comes down to who you have available, and this is why I say let's see what Carey can do. I mean, he's throwing things at the wall and seeing if anything works, but there's not a whole lot of players I care to see at this. I mean, again, I'm not saying don't play them, but give them chances. But there's not a lot of players that I'm like, oh yeah, I need to see them play 5 games in a row to see if I want to keep them.
So do we miss one Alan Polito and one William Agata? Do we miss them?
No,
Yeah, I don't either.
Alan more for like the character, if anything, but
I think Toy is not like Agata in that, because Agata was like, oh, yo, bro, everything's good, bro. Yeah, I just got to feed me, bro, so I can eat, whatever, right? Uh, Great guy and all that stuff. And Toy though is also kind of the vein of he's like he's smiling, he's having fun, and I know I think it was you, Robert, that last week said you want him to be more focused, more intense. I think it was you. I apologize if I'm wrong. I like that he's kind of like almost having fun out there at times. He's still smiling. But he's playing pretty well. So I like that. But yeah, I don't miss Polito much at all right now. Because if
I mean, they
Dayon's
made
not
way for
scoring,
these guys, right? I'd rather have this group, right?
yeah, again, I think the biggest issue right now is the midfield isn't strong enough to feed those guys and to maintain enough possession. Am I wrong?
Been an issue for a while.
It has.
Yes.
Because I know I was telling somebody this also very recently is that I see the problem being more of a midfield than a defense even. I know the defense is a problem. It can definitely be upgraded, don't get me wrong, especially outside backs, but at least another center back. But if the midfield is too porous, don't has enough strength, doesn't have enough possession, doesn't have enough whatever, you're going to get balls running through the midfield and defense can't stop them all and you can't feed your forwards. So that's where I would focus my most attention right now is midfielders. If I could sign the next player, I'd spend money there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that really is difficult about Manu being out because, Davis, Basong, Manu, we got to see how that works. It'd be nice to see that. And we also need to figure out whether Manu is better as a deep lying playmaker, which Carrie's put him in there a fair amount, or he can be that, like a traditional 10, feeding Dayon, feeding Santi, whoever it might be. I think maybe Santi could be that guy. And that's why he pairs well with Dayon or whoever, Mason, and whoever the other forward is, because he can set them up if they need to. So yeah, it's just I would like to see Manu out there so we can see how that all works together.
Any thoughts that we want to cover from this game? I mean, we've talked about enough losses on the road this year. We've talked about enough losses at home. Did you have hope at all? I know, Carrie, you don't have much hope, but did you at least have a little glimmer of oh, maybe they can do something when Toy scored that goal?
I think that the hope came from, oh, maybe this could be a tie, or maybe it'd just be a 1-goal game, something like that. Beforehand, we were taking over the Cauldron's Instagram, and we had everyone do score predictions. And after we posted it, probably about 10 minutes later, we were like, should we have posted that? Because some players are watching it, the club was watching it, and everyone was like, it's gonna be 1 to 3, 1 to 4, not sporting. But it's one of those games that you walk in, you're like, let's just try not to get beat badly, too badly. And we did.
Well, the worst thing about it, of course, is it was a lot of Seattle's backups. So yeah, that was troubling.
No, yeah, whenever we did see the rotation, we were like, maybe. I will say that the rotation did give my friends some hope.
But not you.
Just a little bit. Not me. I know this team.
Carrie, Hopeless Robinson.
That's true.
That's a little sad. I mean, that's, again, I think I've said many times this year, my goals for this year is not win a wooden spoon, finish above St. Louis, make the playoffs with at least a little bit of hope right there, right? And it's looking less and less possible to make the playoffs. I mean, it's still mathematically feasible. Not a lot of games left. It is mostly against teams that are at least in their mediocrity range, but I'm just not counting on it. I know we need to talk about the upcoming game on Saturday, but well, again, anything else you want to do? Is there anything you want to talk about from the game, Robert? I know Carrie's she's over it.
Not in particular, no. I don't think there's any need to rehash.
We will come back and talk a little bit more about some of that, I think. And then a little bit after that, we'll talk about the upcoming game, and we got a bunch of other stuff. We have a lot of stuff on our rundown. We'll see if we have time for it all. We'll be right back.
Introducing the perfect companion to your morning listening routine. AG1's clinically backed formula is now flavor-packed with 3 new delicious flavors: tropical, berry, and citrus. Start the day on a high note with probiotics that taste like the tropics. Mix it up with micronutrients that taste like berry or citrus. And take it all the way back with the classic AG1 Original with notes of pineapple and vanilla. Do your health a flavor or 4 with AG1 Next Gen, the daily health drink. Learn more at drinkag1.com.
Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtuo Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista-quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your Virtuo Pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They gon' find
and
it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you. Find your next ride at Autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
All right, we're back. Carrie, you took a nice trip. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah. So you'll see more. We have a whole storyboard planned, and we filmed a bunch here in Portland and mostly in Seattle, but it should be fun. We were walking around parts of Seattle dressed like Greek gods, and we had some people ask us, so it was fun to try to explain to them what we were doing. But got up there, watched the current take off in the first minute, which was great because we've never even seen a KC team in a winning position when going on away trips. So that was great. Now we know it's not us. Then next day we took a train up to Seattle, immediately went to the game, drank our sorrows away afterwards, and then sight saw the following day before coming back.
Sight saw?
Yeah.
So you got a lot of screen time in the sporting game. Did you get as much screen time for the current game?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Okay.
No, but Portland, great city, great stadium. It was a little less full than what we were kind of expecting because there was a Timbers game that was going on, so people were watching that at home. I heard there was a lot of travel down to San Diego for that one as well. So, double header. We know how those go.
Yeah, that never helps.
No, but it was a great turnout on. I feel like it was pretty even on the turnouts between the current team and Sporting KC. Maybe a little bit more current fans made the trip, and I know a few others also did like the train ride up as well.
Wow, I wouldn't expect that. That's pretty awesome. So, okay, your experience at either place, how would you compare them?
I did. So I've done the Seattle trip back in 2017, 2018, one of those. And I think the Seattle crowd and just atmosphere has gotten a lot more fun. I made fun of them since the last time I went there for because they literally rolled out like a red carpet back then. They don't do that anymore, so I was giving them props to them. But it's a lot more fun. I think that the atmosphere at Seattle was more fun, more enjoyable than the Portland one. And then we kind of learned that Portland fans and Timber fans just really get in and get out, and they don't even go, to bars to celebrate or to drink their sorrows away. It's really just a get in, get out, and Seattle's having a great time doing everything.
Is
Nice.
was Seattle more fun than the previous trip because you can drink now?
Yes.
That does make a difference, yeah.
Yeah. I did also get some posts about the double post bar in Portland, so that was nice.
So
We
where can
walked
we
into
catch
the
your
gates.
content again? Can you remind us of that?
Yeah, we are off to see the Wizards. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So
They're very enjoyable, and I just wish I had recruited them to do stuff for our site, but that's okay. No, so I do watch all your stuff on Instagram. I don't do TikTok, so
it's a very new thing. Most of it's on Instagram anyways. We only rage bait St. Louis fans on TikTok. That's the whole purpose.
And
Well,
does David Greenwald have any of those platforms?
I have Instagram.
Okay, nice.
which, by the way, if you didn't recognize the voice that just popped up, because, well, we really haven't heard that voice much this year, but David Greenwald has actually joined the pod.
Hey guys.
After
Welcome,
saying he
David.
could be here at 8 o'clock, and then like, oh no, I'll be late.
Okay, well, look. I got 2 first graders. They had a reading assignment, I got a 3-year-old. My wife can only do so much. She's a wonderful lady, but she's not like superhuman. It's a lot.
You're a good man, David.
It is. I get it. I still got to give you crap. You know that, right?
That's totally fair. I feel like my headphones are not working.
You're also a little quiet, but these are things
Is
we
that
try to
better?
work out
Hey.
before the pod, but
Well, look, if I had been on time.
I know. If only.
All right, now, Carrie, you saw firsthand Jansen Miller's new do. Give your immediate reaction.
I think we were the ones to break the news.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
We saw it and we were like, who is that guy? And I don't know. I think that we were like, oh, is this somehow one of our new player like somehow get a haircut and the birth of his child happened a little bit earlier than expected or stuff like that. And then we took a picture and zoomed in on it and we saw the shorts said 15 and we were like, oh, that's Jansen. Um, and then with that, we also got excited thinking that Daniel Shallory's mustache was shaved, but we were looking at the wrong player. So it's still there. Don't worry, guys.
Off to see the Wizards. We're not sure which ones, but yeah.
Were you looking at Santiago when you saw Shallowy and thought his mustache was gone?
Yeah,
The hair is pretty similar.
it is. Especially from far away.
Yep. And Robert referred to it as his new do. I would refer to it as his new don't.
He was very aerodynamic on some of his falls and dives.
It's better. A don't would be if he was trying to cling to it and make it look like something it's not. The Zidane, the Zinedine Zidane circle like 1996. Just own it. Looks great. Mazel
I
tov
think
to
it looks
him.
pretty good on him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should just stick with the accountant here. But
Also, if he chooses to pull a Wayne Rooney, we won't know. If he takes a trip on Turkish Airlines, it's already shaved down. Nobody will know.
we will figure it out later.
When
He
he
can
has a
always
full
just
head.
gaslight everybody and be like, no, this is how it's always looked.
We have photos.
The key is to do subtle work. Then nobody will ever know.
Just like slowly add a little bit, like a quarter of an inch every couple months. Is that what you're saying?
Like every off season, yeah.
Not like Landon Donovan tried.
Oh god. I forgot about that.
That was one of the worst hair jobs I've ever seen. So David, since you joined late, we already kind of talked about the last game and we just didn't really talk about it a whole lot. Do you have any just like insightful couple of lines?
Nothing good.
No,
we
didn't either.
scored one. They scored the remaining 6. They even spotted us one.
I know. Appreciate it. And they played their second team.
Danny Musovsky got a hattie. I mean, like the weird Danny Musovsky is like a perfectly adequate MLS level player. And if nothing is a microcosm more of this franchise's inability to put it together, is that a guy like that you can get off like the MLS scrap heap. Like you can find a guy like that and he'll bag a hat trick. We're not finding players like that.
No, we are not. And even if they are finding them, they're not able to get them.
But hey, Mason Toy scored a goal. That was pretty cool. I like Mason Toy.
We did have a bit of a Mason Toy love fest, yes.
Yeah, we talked well of Mason here recently, so
Stock up.
Cody doesn't like his calves.
Does he not? Or does he just not think they're as good as somebody else's?
It's more fun for the bit if we say he doesn't like them.
I'm just trying to be, partially accurate at least.
I mean, this team has needs all over the pitch. I really like Carrie. I have nothing bad to say about Carrie, but I do not think that Carrie's put himself in a position to get hired to be the next guy.
All right. Since you went down that road, David, I had actually had a thing in the rundown that just said David because I didn't want to totally give it away. I figuring if you actually showed up, I was going to go with this. So,
oh, good.
There's 17 players that Sporting can move on from this offseason, whether they have some have options, some don't. There's a lot of options for what they can do in this. And we've talked about this over the last pod or two when you weren't around. So I want to give you an opportunity to put your 2 cents in. However, you have a limitation. You can say keep, get rid of, and then you have 4 words to tell why. You good with that?
Oh god. For all 17?
No, per player.
Yeah, 4 words per player for
Yeah.
for every single guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Jansen Miller.
Keep. He's the future. At center
Pulse
back.
Camp.
Indifferent. He's got potential, but at some point has to show it.
Santi Munoz.
Keep. Stud.
Zorhan.
Keep.
The
We
song.
need somebody on a national team.
Mason Toy.
Keep. Because why not?
Afrifa.
Don't keep.
Ndembe.
What it's it's keep or what? What's the other word?
Whatever you want to use, man. I don't
Move
care.
on from. Okay, yeah. Move on from Afrifa.
Ndembe.
Keep.
Volater.
Move on.
Eric Tommy.
Move on.
We can say Alan Montez, but I know nobody's really seen him.
Keep. Why not?
Sheway.
Indifferent. He doesn't play.
Shelton.
Move on from. Too expensive.
Nemanja.
Move on from. Too expensive.
Leibold.
Move on from. Can't run.
Brody.
Move on from. Bad at soccer.
Joaquin.
Move on from. Only scores against us.
And the other one that was originally on the Mimar Rodriguez. That's one more.
Keep, but only for the puns.
And the other one that had been an option was Daniel Rosario, and he's already gone. So
keep.
Why?
You're going to say that.
What? For the bit, because he's already gone.
In case you can't tell, David's more about just doing the bit than he actually is actual soccer. So
no, I mean, at the end of the day, you named a whole bunch of guys who are replacement level players, right? Like, can you find another player as good or better than Tim Leibold for similar amounts of money? Yeah, probably. Can you find somebody who doesn't take an international roster spot? Radia is a 7-figure player, right? Like, I think he's making over $1 million in salary. Can you get a defensive mid who's less expensive? You can pay more for somebody who's better, but for the production we're getting for the money isn't worth it. Big Eric Tommy guy. Love Eric Tommy. He's super nice. He's a very good player. For the money, not worth it. At some point, the franchise has to find value in the players. And I don't really subscribe to the idea that we have to play Moneyball, because the whole league, other than Miami, has to operate within certain roster rules. And so everybody has to basically play Moneyball. And our ownership group can afford any player we want. I mean, we were actually seriously trying to make a run at Ronaldo. So I don't like the idea that we have to be cheap. But if we're not going to spend the money, then you have to zig when everybody else zags, right? So the way we've currently constructed things is just not competitive and hasn't been for a while. But if you're going to say, like, all right, franchises like LAFC are going to hire all these and sign all these, aging European stars, Miami's going to do the same thing. You'll get the same thing out of, like, Seattle, let's say, or whatever. We need to be different somehow. And then you can play, like, the analytics game of, like, is Jacob Bartlett, he's, a tenth of the price of Nemanja? Is he as good? Probably not. Is he 1/10 as good? No, he's better than that. And so at some point, the franchise has to decide how they want to build this moving forward. And we're just kind of in no man's land right now.
Oh, we are. We're still waiting for. You want to say what we're still waiting for, Robert?
Chief soccer officer.
Yeah, for sure. And we
I
really need to do a
I
better
put in
job
my
of.
resume. I don't know why I haven't been called back yet. I am proficient in Microsoft Office.
We just need to identify talent, do a better job of that too. I mean, that's an important piece.
Yeah, and again, I want to remind everybody they are so shorthanded right now
Yeah.
because ownership has done not much since this all has happened. So they have not replaced Peter as the chief soccer operator officer or whatever title you want to use that does that role. They have lost scouts, not added scouts. They have no assistants essentially to Burns. They don't have any of that stuff. So it's essentially like you walk down through the nether regions of the training center, and it's Burns and Jacob Peterson and PR people. I mean, there's other people down there. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a whole lot of people. And as far as like how they can manage, they only have like one scout out there right now. Their chief scout left a month ago. Whether it was by his doing or somebody else's doing, I'm not sure. But they don't have hardly anybody to bring in people with. So this is one of my biggest worries. Like, yeah, there's 17 people, 17 players they can decide to keep or get rid of. But do they even have the manpower to sign the players that they already would have under contract if they just did the extended options? Whatever. I don't know. It seems like a very dim thing right now. So yes, they really need a chief of soccer operations and some other people to do stuff.
How many consulting firms have they gone through at this point?
No idea. I mean, I've heard things that has made me hopeful something was happening soon, but at the same time, until I see some kind of movement, I am a little bit disappointed. A lot disappointed.
Well, at least we can for sure, hopefully, say that we will not pull US soccer and just rehire someone that has been let go.
Can we?
I don't know. Do you feel optimistic about that, Thad?
You know, I I do not disagree with having let Peter go when they did and a lot of the other things. But if ownership opened up money and allowed him to do things, maybe he would have been a lot better off these last few years. Because a lot of the players that got re-signed was because they already had him here and they could incrementally move him up, and it wasn't huge hits on budgets and all that kind of stuff. And again, I don't want to be a Vermees apologist. I'm not saying bring him back because I know I've been accused of being a Vermees apologist before, but there's a lot of reasons things happened, and he's some of his own intransigence. Is that the right word? Is the problem, but some of it was not just him.
You know, what I think is really fascinating is you can almost kind of correlate a downturn in the results on the field to when Neil Patterson passed away. And there's been this kind of descent back into mediocrity. And you notice that like whenever something big's happening, it's not Cliff Illig who's coming out and giving the press conferences and doing the things. It's Mike. I don't know Mike Illig. I'm sure he's a perfectly lovely person. I can't sit here and say bad things about him. I don't know him. But Neil Patterson and Cliff Illig built something very special when they created Cerner, right? And, you know, right or wrong, and however you feel about corporate America, it is what it is. But they built something from absolute scratch that really revolutionized, you know, their industry and their field. And when they were the managing owners of the club ran a certain way, and it seemed almost like a startup, right? Like when they took over, when On Goal took over, they were doing new things and innovative things, and there was so much fan interaction. And I know Rob was a minority owner, but was kind of front facing and was at the forefront of doing those things. And not everything delivered. They always talked about the apps and all these things that they wanted to do, and not everything was a hit, but they didn't seem complacent. And I think
Yeah.
what I've noticed is that the franchise just seems very stale and complacent right now.
It kind of feels like someone is wanting to not invest and want to. I don't know. Maybe they want to cash out with what they got, and they need somebody to step in and do that. So,
Interesting.
I mean, I want to hope that that's not the case, right? I would like to see that the leagues are investing money and the other owners are. I just don't feel a lot of it is happening. I know they stepped up and paid for Dayon and Manu and Robert's favorite player, Shoppy.
And David's.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
I know David has a love-hate relationship with Shoppy.
So much that he made an or a Twitter about it.
I didn't, but I respect the person who did.
Yeah, David doesn't do Twitter.
Yeah, so after the the sporting game, we got a like on our Off to See the Wizards Twitter by someone's account that said Shoppy's right foot. And there's only one post and it was made that day.
So, you think it was David?
100%. Let's
I wish
let's
it
start
was.
let's start the rumor.
I wish it was me.
Well, you could start one, a Shoppy's right foot spelled, misspelled, like, like boogered or something.
Good. Hey,
Clever.
R.I.P. Tom Booger, because his account got suspended because he had hit the wrong nerve of USA men's national team haters that are Euro snabs, and so they got his account suspended.
Didn't it come back though?
Oh, I think it's still gone. Even Tom Bogert said, bring back Tom Booger.
Because I thought I saw something posted that he was back, and I don't follow him, so I don't know that that's true. We'll have to
I don't know.
investigate this. All right. So on other light news, St. Louis fired their director of soccer operations, or whatever he was, chief soccer officer, or whatever he was, Lutz Penstaffel. How do you say that name, Robert?
Yeah, you're asking me. David's the one.
Isn't it Fan and Steel?
Sure. I don't know.
Perfect.
I usually just go with one name that I can pronounce, and I'm not sure on either one of them on this one, but went with Lutz.
I just had to envy his hair. So
You think he could loan some?
maybe. But that's really what I'm hoping for. St. Louis is only 2 points out of the wooden spoon. So that's what I'm hoping for.
They also
Isn't it crazy that there's two teams worse than us? Isn't that wild?
it's actually more.
Well, in the Western Conference.
Right.
Yeah.
St. Louis and LA.
And one of them, isn't it
And-
crazy how one of them won MLS Cup last year?
Oh, yeah, but they are kicking ass in the Leagues Cup.
Woo.
They're doing well. I mean,
Yeah.
they're still there.
What a meaningful tournament.
If you have no
Hey,
other
I'm just
tournaments
saying.
that you're going to make, you might as well enjoy that one.
Exactly.
Is it too late for us to swoop into the US Open Cup?
Yeah, it's a couple months too late.
You guys know how, so a few years ago, they changed the rules for the Champions League and the Europa League and stuff. But it used to be if you didn't get out of the group in the Champions League, they'd drop you down to the Europa League. And if you didn't get out of the Europa League group, they drop you down to the Conference League. I think that's how we should handle the US Open Cup. You play in the Leagues Cup, you get bounced, they just drop you into the quarterfinals of the Open Cup.
Send in your recommendation along with your proficiency in Word products and Office products.
I'll let Don Garber know.
Speaking of St. Louis, because we like to at least discuss them at once in a while, what do you think about the wonderful VAR decision that gave the winning PK to Mueller?
Okay, I didn't see this. I just heard about Mueller giving the last PK. If I would have known back in 2012 when I first laid eyes on him that he was going to be something special. I mean, I already loved him to begin with, but I knew back then he was going to ruin St. Louis in some way. And I appreciate him even more.
And he's German, and St. Louis is a pretty big German town. So yeah, that works.
What'd you think about the call, though?
Yeah, the call, I mean, okay. Right. It's supposed to be what's the phrase they use? It just jumped out of my head.
Clear and
Clear and
obvious.
obvious, right? So the referee didn't call it in real time, right? So VAR calls him over to the monitor for that. Really? I'm not sure what they were seeing.
Potentially, he caught his knee as he ran past the defender. Like,
Is it clear and obvious? Is it potentially? I mean, is it worth calling him over because maybe slightly brushed it, maybe.
I don't agree with that call. I do not agree with that call in any way, shape, or form, quite honestly, other than it pissed off St. Louis. That's the only
exactly
good part about it. But I also, I went and listened to Weeby's show where he looks he looks at the controversial calls, whatever the name of the show is, and he was like so much like, "Yep, that's clear," and that's that. I'm like, really? To me, it was never clear. To me, it was never 100% clear that yes, his foot caught his knee, and even if it did, that seems to be more his issue than it was the defender. So
yeah, the defender just seemed to be following him, watching him dribble the ball.
So there was an interesting article, I want to say in The Athletic, like last week maybe, where they had an interview written by one of the referees from the Premier League who is a VAR referee. And he was talking about all of the different decisions that you have to make and how, you've got all these panels up and, you're trying to watch in real time and that the assistant VAR has the live broadcast of the game. And so he was specifically talking about how like they were getting feedback from whichever commentators were doing it. And they're like, oh, he totally, stomped his foot and like this, that, and the other. That is influencing their decision making. How, because they watch it live and they're like, oh, it didn't look too bad live. And then they slow it down. And when you slow it down, it always looks worse. And then you're listening to the broadcaster and like, there's no way he's going to stay on. I mean, he stomped his ankle and this and that and the other. And so like, okay, so, check complete. And we tell them what to do. I don't think that's how the system was probably originally intended to work. It's certainly not working as well as it could.
it's not, and it has felt like a good chunk of this year they have pulled back from making recommendations to check. And now it seems like they're making recommendations to check for things that are really very minor and not as obvious as I think they should be. Because again, if I was VAR, I would not have recommended that call. But it was fun to watch all the people whine. So let's just end segment 2 and we'll be back in a moment.
Brooks Running reminds us that we're all powered by something. Whether it's the me-time energy of a run after a day at the office, the electrifying energy of your first marathon, or the infectious energy of a group run with your friends. No matter what energy powers you, Brooks has gear specifically designed to unleash it. So lace up and let it out. Let's run there. Visit brooksrunning.com today to learn more.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Who says you can't be the topic of conversation for all the right reasons? The Hyundai Tucson Hybrid pairs bold presence with advanced technology and sleek style. It's everything you didn't know you needed in an SUV and then some. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
And we're back. Robert, Rapids this weekend for Sporting. You have
Yeah, and gosh, they made 11 moves in this window.
wow.
Yeah. Now, 8 of them I couldn't tell you about. But anyway, they got rid of Kevin Cabral and Jordy Mihalovic, who did not want to be there anymore. I mean, you're not going to keep him, right? They shut him or sent him out and replaced him with Paxton Aronson on a pretty large financial deal there. Um, like one of our MLS soccer buddies said, Matt Doyle, I don't think Paxton's as good as Mihalovic, but Mihalovic didn't want to be there. So, and Paxton did. So there you go. But yes, Rapids are at 7th place. So this game is very important for them because they're only 1 point ahead of the two teams in 8th and 9th. They are 5 ahead of RSL, who's in 10th. So, they're probably not locked in, but much more so for that 9th spot, staying in the playoff race. But nobody wants to be that 9th spot. So this is a pretty big game for the Rapids.
Would you have taken Mihalovic?
Oh yeah.
Would you have taken Aronson?
Yeah. Aronson can play winger.
David?
Aronson's better than Shappy is.
For sure.
Would you take Mihalovic?
Yeah.
Carrie?
Yes to both.
On both sporting merit and also marketing.
Right.
They're at least fringe national team players. Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, the club made money off the fact that Zusi and Beasler were national team players. It made us marketable. People bought jerseys. It helped get games here. Having guys who are on the U.S. national team would not be bad for business.
They sold pictures of them standing in U.S. uniforms and holding my scarf.
That's true. I mean, this team is just so dry that I think it would take a lot for me to say, like, don't. Like, I wouldn't want them or want anyone to come in.
I would like to be in the position where I look at them and go, I don't know if they would help us. We're not in that position. Not even close, right? I mean,
Thad, you had an interesting message in our Slack group. And I don't see it on the rundown, so I don't think I'm getting ahead of anything. But we have a Swope Park Rangers channel, also known as SKC2. And there's not a lot of activity because, it's tough to watch. But Thad on Sunday goes, why do I watch? I think that's also an issue that, goes to the bigger issue of not having a chief of soccer operations, et cetera, is that there's nobody coming up the pipeline either.
No.
There's a bad team. And if you look at like the prospect lists, the guys who were heralded a few years ago aren't anymore. There's who on that team has a path to a first team contract?
There's really only one player that's potentially coming up from SKC2, and I think he will. And that's Tashantrat. That does not make me say that he's like going to be a starter. I mean, he's not. He's struggling down there, but with a really bad team. So maybe with a team around him, he's better. But they've also played him out of position a lot this year because they've played him at like center back. He's more of an 8 or a 6 at times. But that's the only guy I see coming up from there potentially right now. There is a couple guys in the academy, probably with the U16s this season, because they were 14, 15s, and those things have went away. But anyway, there's a couple guys in the academy that I hate to be looking at 15-year-olds and saying, hey, this is our future, but that's the only optimism I have right now.
Robert, let me ask you this.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So I hate to say this, but I think part of our future positive part, and it's really bittersweet, is hopefully we can sell Dayon and Manu for a profit in the next year or two, because I don't know how much longer they'll want to stick around.
So I am sometimes a little bit, I don't know. I mean, I can kind of like have I can play the negative person, I can play the positive person. So I'm going to flip to the other side now. I'm going to go with being positive for a second, just a little bit, right? So maybe one of the owners steps up and says, you know what, Cliff, let me take charge. Let me throw some money at this team. Let me have the majority ownership. Let me do this. And when they do, and they bring in a CSO that has some knowledge, and they bring in a couple of scouts, and they bring in somebody to help Mike Burns write contracts. And that, you got to remember, Dayon was with a really bad LA Galaxy team.
Yeah.
And then they won the championship the next year because they signed players. Now, I think they didn't have to go through getting all these positions filled that we have to, but that is an optimism if this is happening behind the scenes, which I hope some of this is happening, is that somebody is stepping up and saying, here's my wallet. Go take money. How much do you need? Okay, come back if you need some more.
You sound
Um,
too parental, Thad. Stop.
you know, well, you could say that, but my daughter never got that treatment. Trust me. Um, there is no like, oh, just have cash. Um, but if you want the team to be successful, and I look, I would love for the team to be winning every cup, tournament, championship thing there is. I'm also realistic that I know everybody else is out there trying to do this stuff. I want a team that's competitive, fun to watch, has interesting players, and makes me believe that they're out there doing their best. And I will be happy as a fan. I'll be happier when they win the tournament or win a cup or whatever. I'll be happy if they win Leagues Cup or Championship Cup or 3D printed cup tournament, whatever it is. So, do I have any optimism? Yes, I have a little bit. I will be honest, but at the same time, it's really hard to be optimistic all the time, a lot. Because yes, SKC2 is bad, but this is a lot of fallout from not having the money, not having the people in place, not having a coach in place, all these other things. And now even that coach is gone. So, there's even a dearth of coaches right now. Carrie has Roger and Ash as their coaching staff, right? Roger's a first year coach. It's and then down at the two team, you had Estevan and Ike and their staff, and now Estevan's gone, so now Ike's being the head coach. Yeah, everybody's struggling.
Let me ask you
So
guys a question, just kind of as a, because you asked about Mihailovic, you asked about Paxton Aronson. So Busio keeps yo-yoing back and forth between Serie B and Serie A with Venezia, and it's curious that he's not chosen to move on to another club to try and stay up in Serie A. Clearly, living in Venice is not the worst thing that could ever happen to a 23-year-old. But is there a world in which you would offer just a ridiculous amount of money to bring him back, let him be a DP, build a team around Busio running the midfield? Robert?
I unfortunately have not seen Busio play much at all, so I can't answer that question.
ask me.
Dad?
Yes, I would take him back in a heartbeat. Do I think he wants to come back though? No.
Anybody will do it for enough money. Carrie, would you bring him back?
No, because I think we just need to move on. Think about the future. And I understand that he's young. I mean, he's literally my age. But that was also to make everyone feel old. But it's one of those things of I also haven't seen him play as much either. And he is just yo-yoing down in Serie B.
When I've watched him play, he's been good. In fact, I think he's sometimes been better than Venezia deserved. But there's also been times when he's not been that good. So I don't know. We did have another person join us. Daniel Sperry has jumped on, although I'm kind of potentially recording two pods in a row here. So
Yeah, are
Sperry,
you
can
going
you
to
hear
give
us?
him a hard time for being late?
He's not late. He's early for the next pod.
What
So
time's the
shut
next
up,
pod
Remo.
start? It's 9:04. Clearly you were starting at 9 and he's 4 minutes late.
No, not
So,
clearly.
so should we ask Daniel the question that you
Yeah.
were asking?
No, we should. Daniel Sperry, wonderful
David
person.
Greenwald.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm actually was sitting in the waiting room for 2 minutes, so I was in at 8:58. That Thad just took for freaking ever to let me in. So,
So the question to you, Daniel, is would you consider bringing Busio back,
oh
throwing a
gosh,
boatload of?
I thought you guys were talking about Peter Vermees for a second. Wow.
Oh no,
No,
no, no,
Okay,
No, we
what
had
a
that
what a
discussion.
conversation to what a
no,
conversation to walk in on.
Yeah,
no. The
Peter Vermees
hypothetical
is
is,
young.
would you? I'd let Vermees play center back before I let some of these other schmucks do it.
Okay, sorry. Back on track. ADHD focus. Let's go.
Would you bring Busio back? Would you throw a ton of money at Venezia, bring him back, and build the team around him in the midfield? He's 23 years old.
Ooh, I don't know that the cost is worth the product. Hear me out.
We
He's
don't have
not
a
a
cost
10.
though. He's just saying a ton of money.
He's not a 10. And in this league, if money was no object, sure, fine, whatever. But I also think his salary demands would make him like a hard capped designated player,
It would.
compared to what he's making at Venezia. So like to me, I don't think in Major League Soccer you can afford to have a 6'8" hybrid as a DP unless we are talking a Sergio Busquets type of a dude that is selling tickets, bringing a global visibility, and has the pedigree and name to that. Gianluca Busio has pedigree in Kansas City, has pedigree in MLS, but not much beyond that. And so I think like for me, like I love Boost, and I just think at this point he's too expensive for what Sporting probably needs in the generality of the roster build. And that would be why it's a no. Now, if money was no object, roster rules are changing, and there's going to be like 7 designated player slots or something like that, then by all means go do it. But I just don't know that I don't know that he's as defensive enough and combative defensively enough as a 6 that you would kind of want in a modern MLS. He is a bit of a kind of a Rolls-Royce midfielder, and he is a great passer of the ball, desperately needed in the midfield, in terms of vision and ability to break lines, that doesn't exist. Look, Jake and Zoran have very high progressive pass numbers for the amount of minutes that they have played. However, they get them mostly by playing it vertically to the wings from the midfield, versus like trying to find anybody incisively through the middle. So like I think he's an upgrade, but the cost just doesn't justify itself in modern MLS, I think, right now. Right now, with the current roster rules as is. That's my caveat.
No, it's a good answer.
And David's answer is
Sperry brings up a lot of really good points. You know, you in this league you have to pay for goals. So you're mathematically the way, the bulk of your money has to be oriented towards guys who will score. And so your DPs have to be oriented to that. That's why like the best teams pay big money for wingers, strikers, and tens. And that it's a bad idea to have like a DP center back, right? And unless you're getting like the best left back in the world or the best right back in the world, unless you're getting Alfonso Davies or Trent Alexander-Arnold, it's bad value to pay that much money to a defender. And other than his 1 year of way overperforming St. Louis's keeper, Berkey was incredible that first year, but is generally speaking bad value as a goalkeeper, as a designated player. I think Busio is an interesting case in the sense that he and Manu would be an interesting complement to each other, both being, creative. But Daniel's point about Gianluca not being enough of a 6, I think is well taken. I think he's an upgrade on Jake. If you play Manu and Busio as your 10, your 8, and then you can get a good 6, that you've got like a pretty nice little team, and you can have Busio drop back and be the deep line playmaker if he needs to. It kind of depends on the roster constraints, but I would say, number one priority is upgrading the wings. Like Decky's great. He's a very, very good striker. I don't think we're getting enough value out of Shappy or Shallowy. And so,
but But if you put Busio and Manu, like Daniel was alluding to, in your midfield, you're putting a hell of a lot of pressure on your center backs.
Yeah.
I think Busio is better defensively now than what you remember him being. I mean, he's not the strongest defender in the world in the midfield, but he's better than you remember. So I think if you have a true D mid behind him that can help really stop stuff, I think Busio will help with that.
You also can defend with the ball. So,
Right.
like one of the best ways to alleviate pressure on your center backs is to have possession and to be
And
able
you
to
have
put
to have good
pressure on
center
people.
backs to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it helps if they're not bad.
It helps everything if they're not bad. But on one hand, I I would like to have him back just because I know what player he can be, and I think he's just getting a little bit better. And if he's with a team around him that I don't know, I always felt when I watched Venezia, he would make some really smart passes, and his teammates wouldn't read those passes. Like they wouldn't go to the right spot, things like that. Um, but I've also seen him play some of those games where I didn't think he was very good. Not that I watched him all the time, but anyway, it still comes down to the money. Like when you say ridiculous amount of money, yes, we can throw a ridiculous amount of money to get Busio back. Let's throw a ridiculous amount of money to get somebody else who's better than Busio. I don't know who that is, but there's plenty of them out there. It just takes a ridiculous amount of money, right?
It's only money, and it's not ours.
I know, but the people who have it aren't partying with it right now. So, yeah. All right, let's see. If Sperry gets back here in a minute, we will. He stepped away to take a phone call. He came in, gave a really good answer, and then left for a little while. Let's take a short break, and we will be right back.
Today's top story, the flavor merger of the century between the Peanut Butter Group and Chocolatey Corp. Joining me is a PBC executive.
Thanks for having me, Barry.
Now, how did you know the merger and the byproduct of it, Jif peanut butter and chocolate flavored spread, would be a success?
You know, it was a gut feeling, a rumbling, if you will. Besides, they're two titans of taste.
Very true. Goes great with pretzels.
And pancakes.
Apples too, I bet. Try Jif PBC today.
Lowe's knows that no matter your paint project, saving is at the top of your list. That's why when you shop today, you can buy one, get one free. Select Valspar and HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams. One coat coverage interior paints via rebate. Shop these deals in-store or online today at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Offer valid 8/21 through 9/3.
With the Walmart app, you can squeeze in those final days of summer and nail that back-to-school shopping list. So keep working on that tan and let Walmart Express Delivery handle the rest. Chromebooks, Clorox wipes, Sharpies, glue sticks, pens, pencils, and more. All delivered in as fast as an hour. So pour yourself another iced tea. Summer's not over. Last-minute back-to-school supplies delivered fast. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new. Subject to availability. Fees and restrictions apply.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and zero cooking. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite food delivered straight to you. Get Burger King, Subway, Popeyes, and hundreds more local favorites and savor every last bite. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
All right, we're back. I hope you guys were all rested and relaxed now. Carrie, you on your trip, you not only got to see sporting, but the night before you got to see a little more fun.
I think a little is underestimating it.
Very quick goal for Ellie Wheeler, and then Timwa putting it away later.
Yeah. Before, Sperry can get back in here and go on for 5 minutes about each goal. I mean, the second that Izzy Rodriguez crossed that ball, that was such a beautiful ball, such a beautiful pass that you knew it was going to somehow find the back of the net. and Ellie was wide open. And then the Temo Cheringa goal, there could have been a lot more goals by Temo Cheringa if, she kept having to. It felt like the Orlando game for SKC where Mason Toy just kept hitting the ball, and every single time Dayon would just be getting so mad at him. It felt like that between Temuan and Bia at a point during that game. And yes, while they were much happier because they were up versus, being a few goals down already, you could see the frustration of just the misses that Temo Tringa was having on Bia, and Bia was just yelling at her to give her the ball next time.
That is one of the downside to having Tim was not always the other people getting the ball because she's driving the goal so fast. But um, good win, and hopefully we will get a episode of Keeping Current in here shortly, also, so we can focus on that. Um, let's see what else has happened recently. Basong got called up.
We have to have a national team player. It's got to be somebody.
That's why we keep
have
him.
to.
Must. Required.
Let's see. It's only required if you have good players.
Jesse Marsh thinks he's good enough.
He hasn't played very much.
Enough for Jesse Marsh.
Well, he hasn't played enough for Canada.
Can you imagine Jesse Marsh being like the positive and excitement on this team for Sporting Kansas City?
Bring him in as a coach?
That'd be fun.
Nope.
You think he could get a discount on Tim Hortons if he left?
No.
All right. I want to see if Cody actually listens to the podcast when he's not on it. But
he doesn't.
Tottenham Hotspur beat Manchester City the other day in the Premier League, and I'm going to take this moment in the pod to rub that in. And if I don't get a text from him, I'll know that he doesn't listen.
Carrie, what do you think the odds are that Cody listens to that part?
I would say I'm going to give it like a 45% chance. I think it's slightly under 50.
Yeah, I think it's less than that. All right, what else do we have on our rundown? Like I said, we'll hopefully come back and talk a little bit more about the current in a Keeping Current episode. U.S. men's national team roster came out today. Either one of you taking a look at that?
I have. It's fun to see that both a Berhalter and a Klinsmann is on there.
I know. I found that funny also.
You know who probably doesn't find that funny?
Gio Reyna's dad. Oh.
Gio Reyna. I was going to say Benny Feilhaber.
That too.
I wonder if he's feuding with baby Klinsmann also. Like if it's just like a family thing now.
I don't know. I mean, he's got a son that maybe can go try to take out Klinsmann's son. I don't. But they're not in the right age group though. Because what Benny is
interesting. It's an interesting lineup, like a very peculiar mix of domestic and foreign players.
You would like to think that they would have a pretty definitive roster that only changes like one or two people every time they call it up at this point coming up to the World Cup next year, but they do not. And that is, I get that he's looking at other players, and when he says, yes, we know what we got with this player, we know what we got with McKinney, and some of that stuff. But that's the same thing I'm saying with when we talk about Sporting. We know what we got with these players. We don't need to play them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're a national team coach, so you don't get a ton of time with these guys to be able to like instill your philosophy, your values, and everything. So in the run up to the World Cup, you would think that you would want your best 11 guys, your best 23 really, together so they can get practice time together so that they know how you want them to move. Because even though McKinney and Weah and Pulisic have all played together for a while, they haven't played together for a while with Pochettino's tactics. Or just call up complete randos and be like, is this guy good enough to be the last player on the team next year? We did this weird hybrid, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, I think there's a whole lot of players getting their looks. So,
like, how is
with
Tim Ream still around?
I don't like the fact that he's still around, but when you come down to it, he's still one of the better center backs, at least as one part of the pairing, because he's experienced. He can make a couple decent passes. He's does some of the right stuff. He's not fast. But he's much smarter than he used to be. I mean, he's still that's the scary part is why is he still in the picture? It's not that he's bad, it's that why is there not better people?
Is wild. It's absolutely wild. But, like none of the 3 goalkeepers we called up are our best goalkeepers.
Or
What
are
we
they?
doing? Matt Turner's still better than these guys.
Matt Turner
Is
has
he?
been playing though recently.
Yeah.
He only moved to New England, back to New England, so he could get playing time to hopefully get looked at again.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's still better than these guys.
If they're not playing, you can't say that.
You don't make it to what? Did he go play for Arsenal? He was a Premier
Premier
League
League team.
goalkeeper. You don't make it to the you don't make it to the Premier League by being bad.
You don't make it there, but if you don't keep playing, you don't become better and you lose edge. I mean, practice for keepers is only so good. I mean, we've seen that with Pulskamp. He's better now than he was 2 years ago because he's playing. And I know a lot of people don't care. Some people think he's bad, but he's not bad. He doesn't have a great team in front of him, and he still makes mistakes, but he's 24. There's some of these.
But we think Matt Turner's worse than the goalie for the Cessna FC, the team in Serie B.
I didn't say he's worse. I just can't say he's better right now because he's not playing where the other guy is. If they pulled up Busio, you could say he's playing in Serie B. He got called up when he was with Serie A, and I'm not saying he's the best midfielder because I wouldn't say that, but he was playing. So I don't know. It's a valid point. I just will argue the other side is if you're not playing, especially as a keeper, well, at any of those spots, if you're not playing with your club team, you got to do something. I mean, at least Gio Reyna moved to the other Borussia.
Yeah, it's just peculiar to see. Klinsmann, I mean, he's been in the hopper for a long time. I mean, he's been a youth national team player for a long time, but he's 28 years old. He's playing in Serie B. I mean, I suppose he's playing a little bit. He's got 1 appearance this year. No.
Yeah, but
sorry,
Serie B just started up.
He has 2 appearances this year. He had 28 last year.
Yeah, but Serie B just started up.
Sure.
That's still more than what Matt Turner's done in the last year.
At least Matt Turner is in practice getting balls kicked at him from super elite players. I mean, it's
not now. Not now.
Not in New England, but he'll be playing.
Yes, exactly. That's why he went.
Right, but this all goes back to the point though, which is what's the ceiling, and who are we getting reps for, in the build up to the World Cup?
We're going to see some people that we haven't seen.
Whoever is the starting keeper for the World Cup needs reps with the starting back line so they can communicate with each other.
So all I will say is obviously Pochettino does not have faith in Turner being that guy right now because he hasn't played.
Curious lineup.
I'm not disagreeing, but at the same time, he's looking at these guys all the time. We're looking at them much more sporadically, and I will at least give him the benefit of the doubt for the moment. But if you don't like what he's doing, we could always bring back Greg.
Do you think Greg would call up Sebastian?
Yeah, because he's a good option right now.
Do you think he'd get into a fist fight with Claudio Reyna?
I don't know.
It
Who do
would
you think would
probably
win?
it would probably sell more tickets than a current U.S. national team game.
People would more enthusiastically buy those tickets. Fight Club, U.S. men's national team style.
I would watch that.
Peter Vermes somehow gets in there.
As much as I think in his heyday Peter would have taken most of these players, I think right now they would have the edge just on youth.
Thad, the rundown says that you're going to talk about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift getting engaged.
Which, by the way, I just saw you type that in there. So
No, I don't know when that got added or who did it.
I literally watched it go across my screen on my other window here. So no, I saw you do this. So obviously it's important to you. So why
No.
don't you go ahead and discuss that?
I just wish she would buy the team. She's got money.
She does. Which team? Chiefs?
No, Sporting.
Travis doesn't play for Sporting.
Neither does Pat Mahomes. He owns like 1% of the club.
Is it even 1%?
I don't know, but he's not a billionaire. She is.
So why don't you send that suggestion in?
I don't
Put that-
tweet, but I'll shoot it over.
Put it in your cover letter for your applications to be chief of soccer operations.
No, I'm applying for director of scouting and player recruitment.
Oh, sorry. Still, put it in your cover letter.
I have
Say that this is what I will bring to the team. Taylor Swift.
I have some of these qualifications, just not a whole bunch of them.
All right,
This
we have.
This is tough. Oh, Sperry's back. Sperry, what
Yes.
kit are you wearing? You're on mute, and the camera's too high for us to see the badge.
This is a club called Guarani. I believe I forget exactly which, because so Guarani is normally a like a big time Brazilian club as well. There's also a Guarani in Paraguay, which is very famous. This is not that, well, this might be that Guarani. There's like multiple Guaranis. That's the problem. And I don't 100%. This is one of the Guaranis.
Okay.
It's just confused. I don't know. It came in like one of those like mystery kit things. So yeah.
Did you get the information you were seeking, David?
I didn't, but I found it on my own. It is Club Guarani, which is Paraguayan.
Well, yes, but this is like this. There's a couple of different Club Guaranis.
Well, but Club Guarani, which is based out of Asuncion, the capital of Paraguay, their main kit is yellow with stripes.
Yeah, this is
Although perhaps it could also be Guarani de Trinidad, which is, I guess, sort of related to the other one. They also have a similar kit. I don't know, but it's Paraguayan. It's not the Brazilian one. They're green.
It's not. Yes, correct.
Okay, this has been riveting.
It's been so
It's good for an
riveting.
audio medium.
Really good.
Yeah, because everybody can see that kit. Yes, that's very important.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get out of here so you guys can talk about the current. Go current.
Well, before we completely wrap up Shades of Blue, I was just going to give you a UMKC update. The men went down to SMU and drew 2-2 against 6th ranked team in the nation. Came home, beat 2-1 the 24th ranked team in the nation, and somehow dropped a point in the coaches poll and dropped 3 spots in the top drawer soccer pole, so I don't know how that works. And the women are off to a decent start too. They destroyed Rockhurst. So, as the only Div 1 soccer school actually located in Kansas City, I just want to give an update. Any other last words, David? Carrie? All right.
Carrie, say something prophetic.
Me?
Carrie.
Oh, I thought you said Sperry. Sorry.
No, you could
I
also
have
get
nothing
Sperry.
prophetic. I have nothing prophetic to say. Patience is a virtue, sporting fans. You're going to need a lot of it.
That's a lot of optimism right there. And I think with that, we will wrap it up. We are officially out.
Sporting.
It's Saturday and the game is on. 10 minutes in, it's 3-0. I'm sipping back an empty can. I don't give a damn if it's 9 a.m. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. The other side don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Some pointers strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.